This weekend could spell the end for David Moyes. How many times have we said that this season? But as ex-WH employee has said, this could spell the end for David Moyes in a crucial game against Forest. Now, it becomes an even more crucial game because it practically falls on the birthday of a very special person, my granddad, who's turning 70 years of age. He's a big fan of the channel, and his birthday this video should come out on the 24th, which is his birthday. He'll be at the game, season ticket holder in the Billy Bond stand. So happy birthday, Grandad. Just wanted to give you a quick shout out on the channel. But let's get rid of the gushy stuff. You know, it's down to business. West Ham versus Forest. It's a difficult one. I mean, the reverse fixture, I thought we played quite well. And we obviously did result in a 1-0 loss. This time around, we've got a stronger squad. We're in a stronger position. David Moyes seems to have kind of found his team, but I think we should have got a little bit more out of that Chelsea game. And obviously the result against Spurs was quite worrying. And what's even more worrying is that teams just seem to be picking up points around us in fixtures that they shouldn't be. You know, you've got Wolves, Leeds, Southampton, Everton picking up points in fixtures that they really shouldn't. And the fact that we're not able to do the same is really putting the pressure on us. If Paqueta's back, you'd love to see him in that number 8 role alongside Declan Rice. If Scamacca's back, do we go Antonio? Do we go Ings? Obviously, if Kurt Zuma's back, you'd imagine he probably will slot back into the defence. And obviously, Nathan Aged is also questionable. But on the Forest side of things, I mean, they're bound to have quite a few injuries because they've got about 60 different players. But on the Forest side of things, Jesse Lingard, who obviously is a very loved player at West Ham United, he might not be able to play the game. You've also got Dean Henderson, Awani, a big plethora of players. But Forest are they're on the up at the moment. And my biggest concern would be Brennan Johnson. I think you look at that Chelsea game defensively and you think about our biggest issues. We are so poor when players run directly at us. I think the only player really that is good with his back to goal, trying to defend with his back to goal, is Aged. He's really good at sort of shepherding players, but the rest of them, like Tilo Kehrer, for instance, he'll dive in too quickly and he'll just back off too much. So players like Brennan Johnson are going to be a real concern for me. We just really struggle against these like Mudryk, Felix, like in the Chelsea game. We really struggle against very direct players who just run at us. So for me, he's going to be our biggest concern. But then the big thing with Forest is if you get that one goal, you tend to know you're going to get at least a point out of the game. Forest don't tend to score more than one goal. And to be honest, their goal difference and their goals for and against would put them quite far down in the bottom of the league. I think they've only had like 2 victories where they've only scored more than one goal. So the most important thing for us is just to get that first goal. I mean, it's going to be a bit of a toxic atmosphere at the London Stadium if we don't get that first goal. We have dropped into the relegation zone now. It's really hard to say how the end of this season is going to shape up for us, because I personally would say Southampton and Bournemouth are worse sides than us and they're going to go down. But then you look at Wolves. I think Wolves have got a bit about them at the moment. Everton, they'll have a bit of a jump on the Dyche. Whether it will last or not, I'm not sure. And then you bring other teams to the mix like Leeds. I still think they've got quite a good squad. And then also Forest, they could probably get dragged into it as well. So as in the famous words of Mark Carlow, it's a must-win game. It really is. I mean, we can't afford to lose this one. 1 point against Newcastle, 1 point against Chelsea, lost to Spurs. So if we lose this one, winless in 4, and it could well spell the end for David Moyes. But I don't think it will. I mean, it's a very difficult situation, very delicate one with David Moyes, because we've given him more than enough time to find his squad, to put together what he wants to do. We've given him more than enough time to do that. And he seems like he's got it. He's got this sort of 3 at the back system, which we know he wanted to adopt this season, but he went way too negative against Spurs and he went for like a 3-5-2, which it just doesn't work with the players he used in the setup. It may be something you want to see in the future with like Scamacca and Bowen potentially, but I still think 4-2-3 is the way to go forward. Obviously, Paqueta was a bit of a loss for us. But he seems to have found his squad. He's only taken him 24 games, but he seems to have found his squad. But I don't know. You look at the teams around us. Everton got a new manager in; they're on the up. Wolves get a new manager in; they're on the up. It's difficult to say whether. I mean, look at Southampton. They got a new manager in, and it hasn't worked out for them. But to be fair, they didn't exactly employ a very good replacement. I've always said if there's a good replacement available, then Moyes should probably go. And the people we're looking at the moment is Nuno Espirito Santo and Marcelo Bielsa. Now, whether you think they're better managers than Moyes or not, there has to be a point where you just have to cut your losses and say it's time to make a change. I mean, we shouldn't be in this position in the league. The Forest should not be a must-win game for us. It shouldn't be. But realistically, we are scared of getting dragged down with the rest of the teams. And I mean, in terms of the Forest game, we're going to be going through at the back. They're probably going to be going through at the back, or possibly 4-3-3. So I feel like it will be a case of two of the same systems against each other, which often does help us. But I'm really scared about players like Brennan Johnson. I do think if we have Paqueta and Rice, we're going to absolutely run that midfield. I mean, when we played the reverse fixture at the City ground, I think that's one thing that we didn't. We were very, very weak in midfield. I can't exactly remember the player's name, but he had a really good game against us in midfield. I can't remember his name, unfortunately, professional as ever. But I think the people they had in midfield really run the game for them. Sorry. I do think we need to be wary of Morgan Gibbs-White, though. Him dropping into those little pockets. Like I said, in the Chelsea game, I don't know if it's because we haven't got good enough centre-backs to play in the three at the back, or if because they just haven't played with each other enough. But from what I've seen from the system, there's a lot of gaps in there. João Felix, Havertz, they were able to find these little pockets of space so often in the Chelsea game, albeit they're offsides. So, I guess you could say they did their job, but they just ended up having a free man every single time. I do wonder if perhaps having Kurt Zuma in there would help with that. I mean, imagine you got Kurt Zuma as the sort of instigator, the sort of leader of the back three. You've got Aged, who's just a brilliant defender, brilliant tackler, and then you've got someone like Kera who can play out from the back. Maybe you think Obonna's better at playing the back. I feel like you could, make an argument for both of them in that case. Also, I think our fullbacks should really come into play in this game, especially we've got Sayed Benrahma on the left, Emerson playing the football that he's been playing so far. But yeah, I do worry about Morgan Gibbs-White finding these little pockets of space. I think Declan Rice is going to have a really tough game. But if you've got this little pivot going on between Paqueta and Rice, I think that would work quite nicely. The only thing is, if he's not fit, then we know that Moyes is probably going to go for Souček, Downs and Rice, when probably someone like Fornals probably makes more sense. If your system is you want to play with Rice in the 6 and Fornals in the 8, going into the box as a box-to-box defender, as Paqueta in the 8, then surely you just put Fornals in there. So it's a like-for-like swap. You put Souček in there and he needs help in midfield. You need to put someone in there like Downs. I think even Lanzini could probably play the 8. So for me, I do hope that we do adopt the 5-2-3, even if Paqueta's not fit. I think it'll be disappointing to see the team that faced Tottenham, and I don't think it will work out for us. In terms of the scoreline, it's a tough one as ever. I mean, if my granddad was here, he's a famous old saying, "Oh, if we play well, we'll win, and if we don't play well, we'll lose." Well, I don't think that's good enough for a preview, really. I feel like you've kind of got to give some sort of prediction. And for me, I'm going to be going for 2-0 to West Ham. It might be a little bit bold, but I just think surely we've got enough in the tank to beat Forest. And it seems like every single time Moyes has this do or die game, for some reason the stars align and it ends up coming trumps for him. But crucial game on the 25th. I'll be attending. Hopefully we can get all 3 points. Like I said, happy birthday to Grandad. I hope you have a good one. Obviously, I'll be at the game too. And let's hope for a good win. Come on, you Irons.